What is up, guys? Team Yugi Fields here, and today I'm doing a little bit of a different deck profile. So typically when you guys watch the channel, you'll see me do something that's current. For the time being, I'm going to post a GOAT format deck profile. Reason behind that is that I'm currently waiting for the ban list to drop for the current format, and I don't want to toss any deck lists around during ban list season. It's just not that great of an idea, because that's how dreams typically get shattered, and then I post deck profiles that don't actually mean anything. So that being said, I'm going to post my GOAT format deck that I've been playing around with. It's very similar to a list that just recently topped for anyone who does pay attention to GOAT format. It's a very, very fun deck to play. It's just your standard GOAT control, but it's more of a, it's got a little bit of a different twist to it. So I'm going to show you guys the deck. If some of you aren't familiar with GOAT format and you want to see me do more videos that explain it, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will certainly accommodate that, and I will post some how-to videos with GOAT format. But hopping into it, we have one Blackluster Soldier. He's just the big boss, the MVP. We have two Air Knight Parshath. Card's just really, really good overall. There's not too much to really say about it outside of that. It's just a big beater that lets you draw cards. Two Abyss Soldier. Card is also really, really good. This is one of the tech cards that people should be playing currently if you do play GOAT format. It's just a really, really, really good card. Being able to recycle your Sinister Serpent over and over again and just keep bouncing your opponent's cards is pretty nice. Two Magician of Faith. The Magician of Faith is just really, really good to add all of your spells back that you need to recur over and over again. With Magician of Faith, you can just keep adding back Pot of Greed or Metamorphosis or Graceful Charity, even Delinquent Duo. Whatever you need to add back, you can add back, which is awesome. Two Magical Merchant. Card's also really solid. It just helps you get to your Metamorphosis, and it helps you possibly mill your Sinister Serpent at the same time. So having that access is really strong. Then we have one Tsukiyomi. I don't think you need to play more than one personally, depending on the kind of GOAT list you're going for. One Breaker. Breaker is just, he's like the almighty back row remover in GOAT format, other than your Heavy Storm. Like, he's just, like, you have MST and Dust Tornadoes, but he's a multi-purpose card, you know, being able to pop cards and being a monster at the same time. One Tribe Infecting Virus. You really only need the Tribe for certain matchups. It's not the best card, but it's solid. One DD Warrior Lady. Probably the worst card in the deck, but you kind of have to play it, unfortunately. One Sangan. That should go without explaining. You know, you just add cards that you need. And then the one Sinister Serpent, which you can just keep recurring over and over again. Moving on to the spells, we have three Metamorphosis. This helps you get into your Thousand Eyes Restrict. And other stuff, like I'll show you the fusion deck afterwards. But overall, it's, you know, going to get you to Thousand Eyes Restrict, which is the important card. Two Scapegoat. I don't think that three is ever necessary. Even side decking a third, I think, is a bad idea. Two is just really good. Two Book of Moon. You don't need more than two. I can't wait to get the alties to really upgrade this deck. That'll look great. Two Noblemen Across Out. Card's ridiculous in the mirror match. It helps you either make the game more fair for yourself, or just more fair for both you and your opponent, depending on what's going on. Then we play what is known as the Trinity, which is Graceful, Pot of Greed, and Delinquent Duo. These cards are just well known for how powerful they are, and you can actually, like, watch people play and they'll count out of their matches how many times they saw the Trinity, or parts of the Trinity, and they kind of determine that on their luck or skill, which is kind of funny to watch. Then for the other back row removal, we do have the MST and the Heavy Storm. This is just pretty standard, nothing out of the ordinary there. Then we have the Premature Burial and the Snatch Steal. These are just your equip spells that are really solid to have, and sometimes they can really steal a game for you. Moving on to the traps, we have 3 Solemn Judgment. Card's absolutely crazy in this format, being able to negate cards that would either give your opponent an advantage or would hurt you. Being able to negate them is just really solid. Double Sakuretsu Armor. Card is also really good. It's not my favorite card, but it does come up and it can save you fairly frequently. Then for the 1-ofs, we have the 1 Ring, the 1 Torrential, the 1 Mirror Force, and the 1 Call of the Haunted. This is just like the standard trap cards that almost every single deck list plays. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Moving on to the extra deck, we obviously have the GOAT tokens, but that's irrelevant. We have 3 Thousand Eyes Restrict. This is hands down just the MVP. It's the reason that you play GOAT Control is because of Thousand Eyes. Then for some level 3s, we have our Flame Ghost, our Cherubin, and our Dragoness. These cards are just really solid picks. I think that Flame Ghost is probably the most important out of all of them because it's a dark, so it helps you get more dark monsters in graveyard. Obviously, if you're making it, you're probably using Sangan, so that's already dark in grave, but if you're playing something like Chaos, then it becomes even better because more darks in grave means more Chaos monsters to summon. Carbonala Warrior and Dark Fire Dragon. These cards are really solid overall. Same thing with the Dark Fire, it's a dark. A lot of times, like one of my favorite plays to do is snatch steal an opponent's monster that's a light, whether it be a DD Warrior later, like a Shining Angel or something, and then I'll metamorphosis it into the Dark Fire Dragon, and then it gives me access to a Dark Monster, which is really good. 1 Balter, 1 Reaper, and 1 Fiend Skull. These are like your generic 5s. Typically speaking, you're going to make Fiend Skull and Balter the most. I don't think I've ever made Reaper, but it's there. It's an option. Then for the 6s, we have Ojama King, Dark Blade, the Dragon Knight, and Ryu Senshi. I think these are probably the 3 best level 6s that you can pick from. Typically, Ryu Senshi is going to be the one that you go in the most frequently, but there are times where the other ones come up. And then 1 Gatling Dragon. That's just in case you need to metamorphosis your BLS away, which does come up sometimes. Moving on to the side deck, we have 2 Legendary Jujutsu Master. This is becoming more and more relevant in GOAT format currently with the way the game is kind of changing in the pace, because you have Anti-Meta Warriors, which is one of the best decks in the entire format, and this card just hard counters it, which is really nice. 2 Skilled Dark Magician. This is really good to kind of keep up your pace with aggro decks because he is 1900 attack, so having him is just a really solid choice. Dekoichi, you want Dekoichi to kind of keep up pace with aggro decks as well. It also makes it so if your opponent decides to use Nobleman, that it may not be the card they wanted to hit. Like they may think it's a Magician of Faith, but instead it's a Dekoichi, and now you can still use your Magician of Faiths, which is really good. But it keeps drawing you cards too, which is really solid, and 1400 is actually a decent attack in this format. Double Mobius. Mobius is really good against a lot of the aggro decks. Being able to clear out the back row can sometimes just secure the game by itself. So definitely playing Mobius is a good idea. At least one of it in the side deck. Then 1 Brain Control and 1 Creature Swap. These are just kind of like random tech cards. I didn't know what, like, I thought about playing 2 Mind Crush, and I didn't want to play 2 Mind Crush, so I just stuck with these. They kind of help in the aggro matchups as well. 3 Trap Dust Shoot. Card is probably the best side deck card that's not to counter a specific matchup. It's just the best card to side in when you know you're going first. So triple Dust Shoot is definitely a necessity. You got to do at least 2, but I think 3 is a necessity. Then we have, for the final cards, the 2 Dust Tornado for extra back row matchups. Doesn't come up excessively, but there are times where you'll definitely want to have those. But that is the GOAT format deck profile. I want to give a shout out to Dale Bolito for doing so well in one of the prior and recent tournaments for the GOAT format championship. The list is pretty close to his. I know he played Dark Mimic level 1 instead of a 2nd Magical Merchant, and I think his side deck was slightly different than mine. Not excessively, but I think it was slightly different. And then the fusion deck is just kind of like up for interpretation. But I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. If you do want to see more GOAT content, please let me know. Like I said, I apologize that it's not current format stuff. It's just that we have a ban list coming fairly soon, and I don't want to start tossing out deck profiles and then have them be irrelevant because the next day we have a ban list drop, because that's what happened with the last ban list, and that was really frustrating. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, and this is Team Yugi Fields signing out.